Hi, hello guys, and welcome back. After the video that I posted on I think it was the afternoon of the 2nd of April before the tariffs started. Well, now we have the unfold of the story, so we can see that the days when we had the tariffs, the panic, and now the announcement that we had last night, European time, from the U.S. president that there's going to be a pause on for 90 days on tariffs. So we had a recovery on the market. So we're going to talk about all this in a minute. So I want to start with the indices. Then we can go to other assets, crypto assets, and some stocks to see what's going on and to try to make sense of all of this, which is quite difficult. Right. So what we have here, we have here the S&P 500. S&P 500. As I said on previous video, my style, my technique, which you don't have to, obviously you don't have to copy, you don't have to follow. It is actually recommended that you do your own analysis before you embark on any trades. And remember, this is not financial advice, and as I said, this is just my style of trading. So I normally mark key levels where I find support resistance, preferably on higher time frames, and I see what price does on these levels. So here we can see that on the here was the tariffs when the tariffs started. Then we saw a massive sell-off, massive drop for several days, and then where did we find support? We found support precisely here. What was the resistance from previous peaks? So we had this peak for the 2021. Then we had this another peak in January 2024. We broke, and then we found again support here. So from here, yesterday we saw massive rally, and today, while we're waiting to see what happens, we're expecting the markets to open soon. And what can happen? Well, it is very likely. It's very likely that we can see a retracement, that we can see some kind of retracement to recover some of the liquidity that was taken here, and then continue going up. Maybe we don't go up all the way to the top. Maybe we just stay here. Maybe we just stay here and we put up a range like this. Who knows? Maybe we go down, as I said, or maybe we go up. So nobody knows. As I said, it's better to take it step by step and see what happens around these important levels that were always acting as support resistance in the past. So at the moment it looks promising with this pause on tariffs, because it can come negotiations from other countries. Investors can regain a bit of confidence, but also depends on how is it going for the American economy, for the US economy. We will see when the data started to come out, how is the economy doing. So it looks like, as normally economies measure on quarters, it looks like this quarter can be a green quarter, so can be possible that we go up. So that's why I'm saying that it is likely to see something like a bit of a range around here and then start to go up here. But we'll see. We have to check the structure, and if it is a bullish structure, then we can confirmation that we can go to the next level. Otherwise, we might stay here or even go down if there is another bad announcement. But that we will have to see step by step. All right, let's continue to the next indices. So Nasdaq, the same. Nasdaq had the massive drop, as you can see here. Well, I put my level here, but probably you can put it a little bit down here, and then you can see where did it touch. It touched here. It touched this level, because this was the previous peak, and then exactly like the S&P 500. We touch this level and then we bounce back, and then we'll see how big is the retracement to continue up or to stay down here on this bottom level, or we probably just, let's see if we do something like this and then we recover this level, or if we stay here at the bottom. Technology companies were really, we can also do something like this, right? So who knows? Who knows? Nobody knows. We are not here to guess what's going to happen in the future. Where we can analyze the charts, analyze the economy, analyze the data, and then see how we can act from this. But we don't, personally, I don't like acting blindly and trying to guess what's going to happen. So technology companies during these tariffs were massively hit, especially the semiconductor industry was hit massively. So that's why we saw this huge recovery yesterday on the tech companies, semiconductors especially, and we'll see if that is sustained or if that was just a relief, a quick relief rally, but we will see. We have to see that according to how reacts the market today and in the coming days, next week. Dow looks more solid. Dow looks a bit more solid because it's not too much exposure to all the small technology companies. Of course, you have Nvidia, but Tesla, that was also hit. But you don't have the small technology companies that were dragging the Nasdaq down. So we can see the same pattern. So we'll see what happens if we manage to go up. We stay here, around here, this level. So we have to see that. The Russell went also. They came down to this level, to this range. It looks like it wants to jump to the next range, but we have to see. Now let's go to Bitcoin. I know that lots of you guys are waiting for Bitcoin, so let's talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin almost came to touch this level, the 72,000. So we stop at the 74,000. So which basically corresponds to these tops here. So that was something that it was due for a long time. When you have a massive rally like this, it is very likely that you come to confirm these tops. So we came to confirm these tops. It looks like, well, yesterday we came up here. Well, now today we are playing around this level. So we might just play around this level for a bit. So come here, try to break, try to go, and finally, if the indices break up to the next level, it looks like Bitcoin will follow. Bitcoin will accompany this and then stay around this level. Are we going to cross to this level? We don't know. We might, or we must just stay here. And here, just stay here for these 90 days until everything is clarified after what happens during the negotiation and during these 90 days and what announcements are made. So ETH was more punished than Bitcoin. So we can see here that we even touched the peak of 2018. So we came to this level, to the 1,400 level, which is a great price to buy Ethereum. By the way, if you are an Ethereum investor, of course there's still more danger to go down to touch lower levels. But at the moment, if we see a rebound on the markets, well, Ethereum can have a good jump back to these levels, or even to this level, depends on how things go. Solana managed to stay here on this range. Look here, we can put a line here. We stop here at this other support level from previous time. We stop here. and then it looks like if we manage to jump up here, then it would be a good case for Solana to go and try these levels again. Right, let's go quickly to some other assets. Let's check quickly silver and gold. Silver, it looks like it's recovering. So after this sell-off that we had, huge sell-off silver, it is recovering. So it looks like silver managed to jump to this next level. So we might start seeing something like this, try to break up, or at least stay here on this level. The same for gold. For gold also gave us a pretty good entry here. A lot of people were waiting for entries on gold. Well, it managed to come down here to touch this to verify these tops, and then gave us a good entry, and now is really recovering well. So what's going to happen? Well, very likely that we'll see some new all-time highs on gold, unless something really bad happens and then we go down. By the way, we need to analyze what's going on with the DXY index, with the dollar index. So the dollar index, we've seen that the dollar went up here. It made this inducement, is trying to go up to the top, and then started crashing with the tariff news, because the dollar is at the moment, according to what's going on with the tariffs and the bond market, there is this problem that there are some hedge funds in the US that are massively leveraged. So they were massively leveraged on stocks, and with this sell-off, they started to receive margin calls, right? Because they had a massive leverage on the especially on some tech stocks, and then they saw margin calls last week. Because of this, well, you normally, when you have something like this, in the economy, when you have a massive sell-off of stocks, then normally money goes to bonds, to government bonds. However, with these highly leveraged hedge funds, these hedge funds were selling off their bonds to get some money to add collateral to their positions, to their leverage positions. So that's why we saw that also the bonds were selling off, and this was very bad for the economy, because then it means that the Fed, if they want to make the bonds attractive again, they have to increase rates again, and that will mean slowing down the economy even more. So this creates a bad cycle for the economy. So that's why this relief rally, it was necessary. Otherwise, we would see bailouts, hedge funds bailouts. Instead of bank bailouts, we could see hedge fund bailouts, which would be really, really bad for the government, for the US government. So that's why they probably thought about this and thought about giving some good news and making this relief rally. And then we'll see what do hedge funds do. Some hedge funds, of course, they've been dumping massively stocks, so they might continue exiting their positions. That's why there's also the risk of going down again on the stocks if they start to exit their positions as a measure to avoid margin calls. Then we will see that this rally is not going to be enough, and then we will see more downside for the stocks. On the other hand, well, now the DXY, the dollar is being very weak since the announcement of the tariffs. The dollar came down because now people were, with all this crisis of the bonds, that they are not attractive to invest anymore in the US bonds market. So then people are turning to other currencies, people are probably turning to euro, to Swiss franc, which is always a safe haven, to metals, gold, silver, and then that's why the dollar is getting weak. It is likely that the dollar will touch this level, so it is very likely we're very close to this level, to the 100 level, and then from here it might make a recovery and keep ranging here, like as we've seen here lots of times, for a long time. So it might be possible. If situation goes really bad for the dollar, then we will see something like a breakdown. So we might see something like this, and then we go to lower levels. For instance, this level where we have, this is the previous, you can see here, this is a previous key level that we have seen here. We can probably mark it here. So this level we can probably see going down to this 97 level, but all depends on what the American economy is doing, what the people that are in charge of the monetary policy of the US, they are going to do to save or not the dollar. And that also depends on the tariffs, because if they want a weak dollar for their exports, or if they want a strong dollar, so that will depend on what route they decide to take. So now we can see, well, a little bit of silver. Well, we already talked about silver and gold, and then the other thing is that we can talk about the to end here quickly, the VIX index. You know, the volatility index. Well, we spiked in the previous days. We spiked to a level of almost 60. I think we reached 60. Yeah, we reached 60. That's why. So when the volatility index reaches more than 40, 50, then it means panic, and that's why we had this massive sell-off. We can see this only on few occasions, like for instance in the COVID the crisis, the 2020, that which was the highest ever. Well, then we can see here in 2011, on all the previous crises, we can see here the crisis of 2008, then we spiked even higher than the COVID. So today, well, we were pretty high in the recent times. We've been we were always low, and for recent times this is quite high, 60, spike 60. That's why we saw a sell-off. Now it's calming down, but so we'll see. As I said, there are so many things going on at the moment that it is likely that this hasn't finished yet. We have to take it step by step. At the moment, it looks like they want to stop a little bit the sell-off, because it was damaging the markets a lot, but we'll see how this evolves. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. Please let me know what do you think on your comments. Subscribe to the channel, hit this like button, and see you in the next one.